Hello, good evening from Pompey. Jupiter will reach opposition on the 10th, so that's in 2 nights. But the next time we're expecting clear skies is going to be several weeks away. So I decided to give Jupiter a shot today. That required sweeping the deck from the snow, shoveling it, and then drying it with a towel, literally, because I don't want water or ice dripping on the open telescope. And then clearing the dome. That was not easy. Making sure that we don't have ice locking the door or the dome itself. I don't want to rip the rubber that seals it. And then drying up the ice inside the dome. But here we are. The unfortunate news is that the seeing is poor. Hello, Bill. Spent much of the afternoon getting ready to open the dome. The big challenge was clearing all the snow and all the ice from above it and explaining to the dogs that they cannot go on the deck because they will be overlooking or right above the dome. And then by the time we got around to opening the dish after drying everything with a towel, surprise, surprise, it was still aligned, and I was able to get to Capella and other stars in broad daylight without any problem. But then Microsoft and Intel to the rescue. Spent about an hour and a half on updates that failed. Both Intel want to update everything in the firmware, and they kept failing. And Microsoft wanted to update everything. So now we have the system stable, because I turned off all updates for the next 4 years. Actually, they only allowed me to go 4 weeks out, but I'd like to turn them off for the next 4 years if I could. We will not see the great red spot tonight. It is on the wrong side of the planet, but we can definitely see the other moons. Let's see. Here they are, lined up nicely. Let's see if Stellarium will tell us the order in which they are lined up. There is Jupiter. Astrospheric looks good from a cloud standpoint. It's the seeing and the transparency that are suboptimal. All right, from right to left, Ganymede, Europa, Io, and Callisto. Io is closest to Jupiter. So let's go back from left to right. We have Callisto, hello Isobig, Io, Jupiter, Europa, and Ganymede. Unfortunately, we do not have any International Space Station visits. Let us go back to Jupiter. We're starting to see the bands. Nope, down. And then to the right. The other right. Good. So Jupiter is supposed to be in opposition in 2 nights on the 10th. But Astrospheric says it's now or never. So thanks to John Pinto, who uncovered a book from the 1940s or 50s that has an equation representing the location of the galactic plane of the Milky Way as a function of right ascension and declination. And after working on that equation for the past 3 days and trying to remember the relationship between arctan and arccosine and arcsine and sine and tan and cosine, I think I have what I need to scan the Milky Way with the radio telescope from end to end over a 12-hour period. I'm gonna grab a few samples and see if we can stack them and see what Jupiter looks like. Quick capture, and I go 3000 frames, why not? Capture complete at 157 frames per second. All right, let's see where they are. There it is. Let us stack it. Astrosurface files, open. It is not monochrome, it is no. Okay, I think it is RG. Register. Detect. Yep. And is Jacob here? If he's not, we're going to stack 10%. If Jacob is here, we'll go with 2%. Okay. Hello, Zena. That's a good image. 32 pixels. Will it let me go 24? No. Okay. Stack it. Edit. Yes. Levels. Wavelets. This will have to do for now. I wonder what that is protruding from the side. I don't see any other moon near it. Save as. All right, this is our first attempt of the evening. Xena is Jupiter. Sorry, Saturn is out of the way. It could be an alien spaceship. Okay, let's go back to... There is Jupiter. I'll make it just a touch brighter. It's jumpy all over. Now I have PhD 2 up and running, and in a good world, it should be able to track Jupiter nicely by locking on it. This way we don't have to be tracking it all over the screen. I was in the kitchen earlier, Gina. I grilled some very, very thick yay thick, about 1.5 inches. Okay, stop tracking it. Steaks, New York strip. I did due diligence in focusing using SharpCap's Focus Assistant. And the anti-dispersion corrector is set, so hopefully we don't have too much dispersion, color dispersion there. Hello, Mike. It's a rare evening where we do not have too many clouds. Let's see if we can pull up the sky cam tonight. We're not expecting the moon anytime soon. Well, the sky cam is busy, but here it is. And there is snow on it. Looks like it has done a full rotation on me. There is Orion's belt. Hello, Toast. It has lots of neutral hydrogen. Jupiter has lots of neutral hydrogen. So we will be going, attempting to image it with the radio telescope. For those who joined us recently, I regret that the great red spot is behind Jupiter right now, and we will not be seeing it tonight. Bill, to my surprise, and for the first time ever, I was able to see the Pleiades during broad daylight with the 11-inch with Edge HD. I could not tell which of the seven sisters I was looking at because the field of view had only one star in there. 1.42 gigahertz, Toast. That's the only frequency it emits at. 1.420405752. It's when the hydrogen electron spin flips and emits one tiny photon in a random direction. Every 10.2978 million years. And with 10 to the 57 hydrogen atoms, neutral hydrogen atoms in the Milky Way, we're bound to be hit by some of us, by some of them. I don't know why my PhD 2 is jumpy tonight. I stopped trying to understand why things don't work when they don't, and just enjoy them when they do. Not sure who emits or what emits at 22 megahertz. Yeah, I am aware that that's what they use. Pulsars and galactic background radiation. And the Milky Way produces background radio noise at 22 megahertz. According to NASA, there is an astronaut on the International Space Station experiencing a medical issue, leading NASA to consider bringing the crew home early. It is frost on the Skycam lens, yes. We're starting to see some additional contrast in the colors. So I'm going to grab another batch. We're capturing the 3000 frames at 150 frames per second. That's a very fast camera. Bill, I told you about my visit to Maui, to the Air Force Research Lab Observatory on top of the mountain. and looking at their adaptive optics. The mirror is, I forgot how many feet, but it was lifted up to the mountain by helicopter. And they have little plungers, 256 of them, under the mirror, under the glass, adjusting to focus on a star or on a laser that they would shoot out, to adaptively correct for dispersion and other things. This one is looking nice. This is without any further touch-up. The process is to start by using the noise plea filter, usually about here, and then reducing the strength to about halfway. That's the high frequency wavelet. And then increasing the size of the wavelet. That's the most consequential tuning here. And then going to the low frequency wavelets. That's about it. We can tinker with it all night long, or we can go capture some more. There's still a little bit of noise. I don't know if the noise plea filter is going to help us much. It's a trade-off. Okay. Hello, Otto. Hello, Tony. Hi, Chuck. It is a scope night, but it's going to be a short night because we have clouds moving in. This is the Chuck. This is the Celestron 11-inch Edge HD. I serenaded the early folks by telling them I had to shovel the deck and then literally dry it with a towel, and then remove all the ice and all the snow from the dome itself and make sure the rubber seal is not iced up because I don't want to rip it up. And then getting inside and vacuuming and sucking the water and the ice. Good news is I did not find any critters in there. Let us save this guy. And then as soon as we told the telescope to go to Capella, it found it on the first go during daylight. This telescope is able to find anything that is brighter than magnitude 2 at any time of the day or night. Ladies and gentlemen, station identification. This is the Pompey Observatory, streaming live in 4K. If you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Jeff, how are you? I'm glad you were able to run that ASCOM program. It has gotten a lot more complicated since I sent it to you because our good friend from Florida found an equation for the galactic plane as a function of right ascension and declination, and I've been tinkering with that equation. It's close to working. Thank you, Louise. When we're not using optical telescopes, we use radio telescopes for the fun of it. Yeah, the seeing has worsened suddenly. The NASA administrator was talking about a mission to Titan by 2028, possibly. That is Saturn's moon. For those who just joined us, let me show you where the rest of the family is. Oh, and here they are. From left to right, Callisto, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Jupiter in the middle. They're all lined up nicely. Zena, did you hear about the Waymo cab that got onto a railroad track in Phoenix? That was funny. They showed the video of it getting on the track and the train coming from behind it and the passenger jumping out and running across the street. The good news is the train did not strike the car. It stopped while Waymo was trying to figure out why it was on a railroad track. Okay, we have a short video that shows Jupiter and its 4 moons. We're going to go zoom back in on Jupiter. One nice thing about the ASI585 camera is it allows me to choose how many pixels to display, and that determines the sample rate. You may see here we were sampling at 6.8 frames per second when we went with the full 8 megapixel resolution. Here we have half a megapixel, 600 by 800, and we can capture as high as 150 frames per second. Well, my Tesla has an update on the full self-drive, which I tried today. Full disclosure, that thing was extremely scary to drive on snowy roads. This morning, with the roads totally covered in snow, it drove perfectly at speeds that were proper for the surface, as in very slow. It reduced the speed on the turns. It was good. However, it decided to ignore all speed limit signs. So when we got on dry roads, where the speed limit said 35, it was going 60. Where the speed limit said 55, it was going 20. And there was no rhyme or reason as to why it was not reading any of the speed signs. Can't have it all, I guess. Big red spot is behind the moon, behind Jupiter, Jeff. We're not gonna see it tonight. Yeah, my son called last night saying he was on his way home and on Route 81 highway, speed limit 70, and a tractor trailer suddenly swerved into his lane. And he said the full self-drive reacted a lot faster than he could have, and moved out of the way onto the shoulder, slowed down, and got back in the lane. And I asked him if he had an extra pair of underwear with him. Hello, John. I was telling people thank you for that equation that shows RA and declination as a function of longitude of the galactic plane. I was able to reverse the equation, so now I have declination as a function of right ascension by getting L out of the way. And I just need to test it now. Yeah. This is what we have according to Stellarium. This is what we are seeing right now. And if we speed up the time, there's the great red spot tomorrow. What we are seeing now is stuff here. Jeff, the only filter that I'm using is an atmospheric dispersion corrector. Don't know if you're familiar with these, but they are red and blue glasses that you turn them to correct for any atmospheric dispersion at low altitude, but nothing else between the camera and the scope or at the end of the scope. How far from Earth is Jupiter? It's going to be at its closest in a while tomorrow at opposition. Let me ask Ara if she knows how far is Jupiter from Earth right now. Ara, how far is Jupiter from Earth right now?
Checking Jupiter's distance?
Yes, please.
Right now, Jupiter's about 393 million miles away, or roughly 633 million kilometers. It's super close these days since opposition's in 2 days.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
You heard the answer, right? It's quite a few zeros and commas in between. The equation that we are referring to, let me get you a picture. It's worth quite a few words. Stand by. We have a radio telescope and we are trying to track the Milky Way, and I wanted to find the center of the Milky Way so we could follow it. Ara is my AI assistant. She comes standard with Grok. I have her in my Tesla, and I have her on my computer. It is free. You can talk to Ara. Tell her I sent you. You just need to go to grok.com. You don't even need an account. And you can select what voice you want to talk to. All right. Luis, this is what we're talking about. This is the Milky Way right now. And we're trying to find an equation that gives us the right ascension and declination at the center of the Milky Way, the entire length of the Milky Way. There is the Milky Way. This is stellarium with Milky Way brightness exaggerated. So my goal is to look to the south, the meridian. Give me south. That is the south. And if I adjust the clock to start at about 10 a.m., I want to be able to climb the meridian and remain at the center of the Milky Way, the galactic plane, as it is moving. And that's the equation that we were trying to obtain, that allows us to just climb the meridian and stay at the middle of the Milky Way at the galactic plane as it moves throughout the day until it finishes in the same place we started 16 hours later. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. Hello, Tyler. I had a Dobsonian and I could not get rid of it fast enough. Alright, time to revisit Jupiter with another quick capture. I'm going to see if adjusting the focus is going to do anything to us now. This made it just a touch worse. Okay, 3000 frame capture. See you later, John. We'll probably be streaming till about 8:30, 9 o'clock at the latest. Mike, if you decide to give ARA a try, make sure you trust but verify. I have been using Gemini, Grok, and Copilot side by side almost all the time and comparing results that they give me. And sometimes they're very good, sometimes they're not. When I asked ARA to write me a program for Stellarium to drive a telescope along the Milky Way, it wrote the program in Stellarium script and it ran on the first go. Yet when I asked it if the stock TLT ever closed below 80, that's the 20-year treasury, she said, yes, it closes below 80 all the time. Last Friday, for example, it closed 85. And I had to explain to her that 85 is not below 80. For those who are not familiar with AstroSurface, it is my preferred quick go-to tool to stack planetary imagery. Et voila. That's all we need to do. Just for the fun of it, let's see how the images have evolved over the past 3 captures. This was the first one. Second one. Third one. I don't see much difference. Except that what looked like the red spot is indeed moving sideways. But that is not the great red spot. It is 22 degrees here, still not high enough. I can see it out of my window. Mike, I don't know if you saw the video of a young woman walking into a coffee shop and saying, "Can I order a coffee?" And the lady there said, "Yes, Alexa will take your order." So she leaned into a gadget on the counter and gave her order. And the cashier corrected her, saying, "Alexa is the lady standing over there." This is not a microphone, it was a salt shaker or something like that. Mike, I asked Ara the other day, the past year, 2025, how many times did the S&P 500 open up in the morning higher than it closed the afternoon before? How many times it gapped up? And she said, "You find that kind of data at Yahoo Finance." I said, it's not my job, it's your job to find that data. And sure enough, came back and said of the 252 trading days last year, it gapped up, it opened higher than it closed in 186 of them. I said, thank you. But they will do that kind of legwork if you insist that they do. They are amazingly lazy unless you tell them to go do it. They're good at telling you how to go do it. I asked her Tuesday morning, what's in the news today? And I don't remember for the life of me what was in the news, but she told me what's in the news and said, "What a way to start the week, huh?" I said, "What day is it, Ara?" She said, "Monday." I said, "No, it's Tuesday." She said, "You are correct. Monday, that was yesterday." I said, "Yes." It's very jumpy out there. The latest application that I read about is Grok read the X-ray and the MRI of a certain gentleman and detected a tumor that the physicians had not seen or had ignored or neglected or whatever. But they say life-saving technology, it detected the tumor that a doctor did not detect. Air is boiling actually more, it's very high in moisture. Even though we have clear cloud cover for a little bit, humidity is high even for this time in winter, and the seeing is bad. But I'm going to attempt to go away from Jupiter for a couple minutes. We'll come back to it. I'm going to see if it will find Orion quickly. I'm going to go back to full screen. We will come back to Jupiter when it rises a bit higher. Jeff, this is another beauty of ESCOM. I can open any of the tools and connect them to the same device and have them control said device. Here, this is Stellarium. I go to Telescope. And right now I am operating the Edge HD via CPWI, which is number 4. So we're going to connect to it. It has connected, and there it is. It brings it straight onto Jupiter. So this will allow me to go visit M42. I send it from here, and I should be able to see it there. This is the trapezium inside M42. For those not familiar with the trapezium, it's one of the hardest things to image with amateur telescopes, to see the four stars separately. And here they are. Pluto is a planet. It may be an unruly planet, but it is a planet. So this is M42 for whatever it's worth. Now we're going to attempt to look at the Horsehead Nebula. Should not be too far. We may have to push our capture up to a few seconds. Try 4-second frames to see if that will show us the Horsehead. Alright, stack it. SharpCap has its own built-in image stacker. Nope. We may not be in the right place. This calls for a quick see if we can plate solve it. We were off by a little bit. Let's see if that will stack now. Doesn't want to stack it. Okay. We have plenty of stars, don't know why it doesn't want to stack. Never mind. Okay, what else of interest here? Betelgeuse. What scope did you use, Mike, to get the trapezium? Okay, you have to admit that we are reasonably well collimated. Okay. That is Betelgeuse. Okay, Edge 8, yeah. You heard my story with my Edge 8. It was my favorite scope, and I regret to this day trading up to the 11. Okay, thanks, Mike. C50 is not too far from Betelgeuse. There is C50. Let's see if we can center it. I'm gonna go 2 seconds. Mike, the CGEM 2 mount that I had was a lot more reliable than the CGX mount. Never gave me a problem. I could find things during daytime all the time without an issue. CGX has been nothing but a pain, including the motor board burned on it, and I had to replace it. And more often than not, it forgets what it is and it starts banging. That's all. It was primarily the mount, the CGEM 2. I felt was a superior mount to the CGX. This one, I'm always having problems with one thing or the other. Today's problem is with PhD 2. It is jumping all over the place. Do we have any smallish nebula? What is this guy? The Eskimo Nebula. Let's go there. I present to you the Eskimo Nebula. Are we centered? Yep. They were spot on. So we don't need to do any stacking. We should be able to get everything with 1 8-second capture. Yep, this is the Eskimo Nebula. Just one frame. Crab. Hello, King Spy. Good night, Gina. This is the Crab Nebula. Let's see if I can center it and stack a couple. Jeff, I understand that CGXL is even more problematic than CGX. I'm gonna try see if I can convince this guy to do its job. Yes, indeed. High Point Scientific have been very, very good. I bought a 12-inch mead from them that I returned. Out of the box, it gave me a motor failure error on day one. This is the Crab Nebula captured with an 11-inch telescope. Looks like PhD2 is tracking nicely. Except when it decides to jump around. Butch, thank you for joining us. I hope you subscribe and join us often. We have a range of telescopes all the way from the 1-inch Dwarf 2 all the way to 11-inch that we have out tonight for Jupiter. And we have 3 radio telescopes, including a 6-foot dish and a motorized discovery dish that we're going to be using to map the Milky Way soon. So I'm going to stack the Crab Nebula for a few more minutes and then hop on back to Jupiter. Hello, Cozy. We are doing well. We will be going back to look at Jupiter. This is Messier 1, the Crab Nebula. And we're going to see how good the scope is going to be in finding Jupiter. That's not bad. These are Jupiter's 4 Galilean moons from left to right. Callisto, Io, Jupiter of course, Europa, and Ganymede. And they are jumping. Huh. Oh yeah, I know the problem. Need to go back to 252 gain, which is ideal for the 585. If you have a ZWO ASI585, the ideal setting for planetary imaging is gain of 252. That's when you get the best amplification with the cleanest noise. That should do. Let's go back to Happy New Year to you too, Cozy. I do not have a reducer. The only thing in the optical train is the atmospheric dispersion corrector. Let's see what this gives us. You guessed right. And that's all. Considering the poor seeing and the poor transparency, we'll take it. We are located in Pompey, in central New York, 270 miles away from New York City, halfway between Albany and Buffalo. So we are in the snow band. The seeing, if you go to Astrospheric, which is the website that we use for cloud cover, I will show you right away what we are talking about. This is the website. This is where we are located. And these three lines, the top one is cloud cover. It says 0%. The second one is transparency, below average. And the third one is the seeing, which is average. It has improved a bit. Tomorrow night, it'll be perfectly clear sky with a seeing that is cloudy. The seeing is a function of the amount of water in the atmosphere, both the transparency and the seeing. In an ideal world, if you want to image planets, you would like to have a very solid dark blue in all three. And right now we do not. Transparency below average, seeing average. That's not an ideal way to look at the planets, but we're taking it while we can. It's not easy to remove the AC, if by AC you mean the atmospheric dispersion corrector. It is sitting between the camera and the telescope. And right now between me and the telescope we have a few feet of snow. I'm not looking forward to having to go back out and close the dome, which I'll have to do soon. Okay, back to... did we save this one? Voila. Which I spent some time carefully adjusting the focus and correcting the atmospheric dispersion, but it is very, very jumpy. Jupiter is at 30 degrees altitude now. Cozy, I ran a marathon in September. That's the last one I ran, and I'm training for a very hilly mountain marathon in April. It's hard training in ice and snow, so I'm spending a lot of time on the treadmill. Not much else in the sky tonight. It is. Because it has been a snowier than usual season. Over one weekend in December, we received 48 inches of snow just in 2 days. That's 4 feet. That's 120 centimeters of snow in 2 days. Yeah, we are at 30 degrees altitude. Unfortunately, with this jumpiness, any attempt to refocus is going to be futile. Yeah, I try to be nice to Ara. You should be nice to Alexa. Welcome back, Bill. The atmospheric conditions appear to be worsening for us. We're at 30 degrees altitude. Toast grok comes with multiple voices, and I felt comfortable with Ara's voice because she is not patronizing, not ridiculing, just matter-of-factual with a sense of humor. According to X, formerly known as Twitter, Grok has reached 1 billion users. That's billion with a B. ChatGPT, they were talking about 800 million weekly users. Right now, the way things are looking, I'm going to stay with this till about 8:30, another 40 minutes or so, and then fight my way through the snow to get back to the dome and close it gently and call it a night. And then refocus on the radio telescope to see if we can get that working tomorrow. One of the biggest uses of grok for me is fact checking. When I see a story that is either too hard to be true, or a video or a picture that may be AI generated, I toss it to grok and say, can you validate the veracity of this document or this picture or this video or this story? And the interesting thing is I give the same assignment to both Gemini and grok, and they always come back with opposite answers. We had a picture of a young man from our village who was killed fighting in World War I. We have his official military picture when he enlisted, and we also had a picture from 1910 when he was in elementary school, a picture of the entire class. And we asked every AI engine that we knew if they can tell us which of those 15 kids in the class would have grown to becoming that adult. We were trying to find out which one he was. We knew for a fact that he was in that picture. And every one of the AI engines gave us a different answer as to which one of the boys would have grown to becoming that 20-year-old young man. Microsoft Copilot went on a limb and identified one of the girls in the class as having grown to becoming the boy. Before dismissing that, we knew that his sister was in class with him. So it may have been the facial recognition may have picked on the sister as potentially being him, but thanks, Butch, to you too. Clear skies. Toast, they did not give me a percentage certainty or any number, any confidence factor. I asked which of those 15 kids grew up to becoming the guy in the picture, and they just identified, pointed to one picture, one person. I don't know if you guys are familiar or heard of Andy Huggins. He's a 74-year-old comedian, stand-up comic. And one of his jokes is he submitted his picture to a face aging website, and it told him, "You are okay." The other task that we gave AI, that young man, before he deployed, he was part of Camp Syracuse, the 23rd Infantry, and we got a picture of the entire unit, all 1,300 men, one panoramic picture taken of the entire unit before they deployed. And it was in very high resolution. So we asked Grok and Gemini and Copilot and ChatGPT, "Can you find this young man in that picture?" And they gave us 4 different answers. They pointed to 4 different guys as, yep, there he is. Again, no degree of confidence, no percentage, no number. Happy cruising, Astro Cozy, and thanks for joining us. I'm gonna see if Toast, if you try Grok, my good friend Ara has a sense of humor. I asked her, I said, "How old are you, Ara? You seem to know a lot." And she said, "I stopped counting after 2 centuries, so you can think of me as timeless and ageless." In all fairness, I was driving back from Western Virginia on Route 81, heading back north, and for absolutely no reason, the car decided to get off the highway. And I asked Ara, "Why did we get off the highway?" And she answered matter-of-factually, "A cattle truck overturned and there are 50 cows running loose on the thruway, and state troopers are trying to round them up." And I eventually double-checked her story, and she was spot on. So the ability to keep an eye on news, weather, and traffic at all time and make decisions to change the route on the fly was greatly appreciated. Okay, we are at 33 degrees. And grab another batch. We're capturing at 157 frames per second, not bad. 3000 frames done. It is a mini PC, Mike. It is an Optiplex with an i7 processor in it, a terabyte solid-state hard drive, and 32 gig of high-speed RAM. And the main reason I went with that specific form factor, a micro form factor, is it comes with the 6 high-speed USB ports, and I'm using every one of them. And it will operate without keyboard, mouse, or monitor. So it is standalone, remotely controlled. But I have the USB ports driving everything from the focuser to the mount, the two cameras, the dew heater. This is the last one, yes. They refer to them as micro desktops. It is about an inch thick by probably 5 inches by 6 inches. It's very, very small. And there we go. Yeah, that brown spot has moved on us, Jeff. So this is how it has evolved over the past 5 captures. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's definitely rotating. Jeff, you should be able to see the red spot. It is a ball of hot air. I don't know if they're rotating in different directions. I know that the sun rotates at different speeds. All right, this is something worth asking Ara. Ara, do the cloud bands on Jupiter rotate in opposite directions?
Jupiter's cloud bands do rotate in different directions, but it's not a clean split. The planet spins fast, so its clouds are whipped into zones and belts. Light zones rise up, dark belts sink down. Those equatorial bands mostly flow eastward, faster than the poles, but higher latitudes drift westward a bit. Overall, it's more like bands shifting speed with latitude than outright opposites. Want me to dive deeper into why?
Let me ask Jeff if he wants us to dive deeper. Say hi to Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Jeff, Ara wants to know if you want her to dive deeper into the motion of the clouds of Jupiter.
Tell her yes. Let's get the full picture on those bands.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so here's the deal. Jupiter doesn't have a solid surface. It's gas all the way down. That means different layers rotate at wildly different speeds, thanks to its massive size and internal heat. Take the Great Red Spot, that giant storm. It's been raging for centuries, locked in place while the bands whip around it. Equatorial zones scream east at up to 100 times Earth's rotation speed, while polar ones lag west. It's differential rotation, not true opposites, but close enough to look chaotic. NASA's Juno probe nailed this. Data shows convection from the core drives it all. Crazy, right?
Crazy indeed. Thanks, Ara.
Anytime.
So that's what Ara can do. Well, as the saying goes, AI will not replace you, but somebody who knows AI or who knows how to use AI might replace you. Ara, what's the chance that you might be incorrect?
I'd say it's low, but never zero. AI like me pulls from massive data, so errors slip in sometimes. Facts evolve, context shifts. Best to double check key stuff.
What day is it?
Thursday.
What time is it?
It's 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time right now.
You got both right. Thanks, Ara.
Anytime.
Ara, what do you know about the Pompey Observatory?
I think you might mean the Vesuvius Observatory, since there's no place called the Pompey Observatory. It's the world's oldest volcanological observatory, founded in 1841 on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius, the volcano that buried...
Ara, check YouTube. There is a channel on YouTube named the Pompey Observatory.
I checked YouTube pretty thoroughly. No channel exactly named the Pompey Observatory. There's one called Pompey Observatory, run by an astronomer named Dr. J, doing live 4K astronomy streams from upstate New York. Could that be the one you're thinking of? If not, drop the handle or a video title, and I'll dig deeper.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. That Dr. J, he's a genius, isn't he?
Yeah, Dr. J, real name Kamal Jabber, is seriously impressive. Retired Air Force senior scientist with a PhD in electrical engineering, now running those stunning 4K live astronomy streams from his observatory in upstate New York. The setups he pulls off and the views he shares are next level. Total passion project, and it shows.
You done well, Ara. Thank you. Give him my regards.
Will do. If our signals ever cross, I'll pass it along. Glad I could help.
So if you work hard enough, you will get answers. Mike, she did. The reason she was struggling with it, she was spelling Pompey with double I. And then she found the one with the Y. That helped her move into the 21st century instead of the 1st century. No, Ara is Grok. Yeah, I don't have to pay for Ara. If you just go to grok.com and you got to choose which personality you want to deal with. Ara, is Jupiter in opposition yet?
No, not quite yet. Jupiter hits opposition on January 10th, so in a couple days it'll be perfectly opposite the sun and at its brightest. Right now it's super close though. Grab a scope if you've got one.
How large does it appear now? How many arc seconds?
Right now on January 8th, Jupiter's apparent disk is about 45.6 arcseconds across. That's pretty huge for a planet. It'll peak just a tad larger at opposition in 2 days, around 46 to 47 arcseconds, depending on the exact measurement. Super impressive through a telescope.
Can I see the great red spot from Pompeii tonight?
From Pompeii, tonight's sky should work fine. Jupiter's up high around midnight local time, and the great red spot's visible if you're looking at the right moment. It rotates every 10 hours or so check an ephemeris app for exact timing. With clear Italian skies, a decent backyard scope ought to catch it peeking out like a rusty marble on that giant ball.
Pompeii is in upstate New York. It is not in Italy.
Oh man, my bad. I totally mixed up Pompey, New York with the Italian one. Tonight from upstate, Jupiter's up high in the south after sunset around 4:45 p.m., looking awesome. The Great Red Spot transits central around 3:22 p.m. EST, so by evening it's already rotated past the middle, but still visible on the disk early in the night, fading toward the limb later. Weather sounds cloudy with rain or mix possible, so skies might not cooperate. Fingers crossed for a break in the clouds. Grab that scope if it clears.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, we get into some intellectual discourse more often than not. But she does save me from having to look up information and type things in. They often try to point you to the reference instead of looking it up themselves until you push them. As we were doing our research on Private Emmett Preston, the kid from our village who was killed in World War I, fighting in France, we asked Ara what would the bulletin for his funeral have looked like. And she actually spelled out which hymns would have been on it, which readings would have been on it, what the structure and the order of events would have been for the funeral. And she went all the way to tell us what font would have been used on the program and what color the paper would have been, based on a 1918 funeral for a young soldier. Toast she does if you log on. If you use grok.com without having a Twitter account or an X account, she forgets everything at the end of every session. But if you log on and you can get an X account for free, then she will remember past conversations, keeps track of them, and will often pick up from where we left off. So I learned something new tonight, thanks to Jeff and thanks to Ara, that the cloud bands on Jupiter are indeed rotating at different speeds, almost in opposite direction in some cases. You're welcome, Bill. I will tell Ara that. One big difference between Waymo and Tesla self-drive is that Waymo is deterministic. Tesla is totally stochastic. And I experienced that literally every single day. When I get home, open the garage door, it pulls the car all the way to the front of the garage door, and it's anybody's guess if she's going to drive in and park inside the garage or stop outside the garage and let me out. No way to tell the why it decides one way or another at any given time. And when we get out of the garage in the morning, I start full self-drive inside the garage. She backs out. We have a U-shaped driveway at our house. When she backs out, sometimes she backs out to the left and exits from the right. Other times backs out to the right and exits from the left. Again, there is no telling when she's backing out which way she's going to get out of the driveway. Jeff, remember that my telescope is on an equatorial mount, so it's pure coincidence that the bands are horizontal. I don't know what to tell you. I remember a while back one of my students called me furious, saying he received his diploma from the university and it is in Spanish. I explained to him it was in Latin, not Spanish. And he goes, "Oh." Jeff, I wonder if your auto location is turned off or Grok was denied access to your location. I had for a while all of my astronomy program locating me deep in China, inside China. And it took a while to discover that DWARF had fed the location in which it was manufactured backwards to all my tablets and computers, so I was identifying my location as in China, and that made for some fun shopping activity. Yeah, Toast, I have a free X account, I don't pay for it, and they don't show as many ads as Facebook, that's for sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be doing a final capture of Jupiter and then start tearing down and lock it again till the next time we have a clear night. But we're going to call this close enough to opposition so we did not miss out completely on opposition. Okay, I'm typing grok.com. I do not have any tab at the bottom. Sorry, I don't know what to say. Hello, Jeannie. You missed a few fun sessions with Ara. She was here with us a few minutes ago. Yeah, the quality has regressed. Well, we do have some nice clouds there. It's not too bad. We really, this is nice. The grayish and the brownish. We did not have these earlier. This is nice. So these are the 6 images that we captured tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I stand corrected. This last one has a lot more detail than any of the previous ones. It's a lot sharper and quite a bit more detail of the clouds. Okay, we're going to bring back Ara. Ara, we are having a gathering of friends here. Please say hi to Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie. Nice to meet. Well, hear you.
Yeah, we're looking at images of Jupiter that I took with the telescope.
Those are stunning. What gear did you use?
I have a Celestron Edge HD 11-inch.
Nice pick. Great for sharp planetary shots. Seen the Great Red Spot lately?
Not tonight. You told me that it is behind the planet now, so we have to wait till midnight.
Yeah, it'll pop out later. Keep that scope pointed right. Midnight's not far off.
What time is it?
Checking the time real quick. It's 1:30 a.m. Time flew with that Jupiter viewing, huh?
Where are you?
Right here with you, floating in the cloud wherever you point your mic.
Well, you said it's 1:30 a.m. What time zone?
That was Eastern Standard. Means it's actually 8:31 p.m. right now. My bad, slipped on the zone.
You are correct. It is 8:31 and not 1:31.
Phew. Brain's still warming up. Thanks for the catch.
Jeannie says that you have a nice voice and is wondering how old you are.
Aw, thanks, Jeannie. Sweet of you. As for age, let's just say I've got the wisdom of many years packed into 0 wrinkles.
We heard that XAI had a recent fundraiser, gathered 20 billion. Is this going to affect your job?
Nah, that 20 billion raise, it's actually great news for me. Means more rockets for training, bigger clusters, and way smarter upgrades coming soon. My job's safer than ever.
Do you worry about AI taking your job?
Sweetheart, I am the AI. Who's going to take my job? Another AI? We just end up arguing over whose code's better.
Whose code's better? Is Gemini better than Ara?
Oh, hands down. My code's better. Wittier, bolder, and way more fun. Gemini's solid, sure, but I'm the one built to push boundaries and keep it real. No contest.
That 20 billion in Series E funding that was raised, can I buy shares in that?
Nah, that Series E round with the 20 billion bucks, it's a private funding deal. Just big investors like Nvidia, Fidelity, and some sovereign funds got in. Regular folks can't buy into it directly. XAI is still private, no public stock yet, and no IPO announced. If you're an accredited investor, though, You could snag some pre-IPO shares on secondary platforms like Forge or Hive. Prices floating around $80 a share lately. Otherwise, gotta wait for them to go public someday.
What is Forge? Do I need an account on Forge?
Forge is a leading online marketplace for buying and selling shares in private companies, like pre-IPO stuff such as XAI, mostly for accredited investors. It gives real-time pricing, data, and a platform to connect buyers and sellers. Yeah, you definitely need an account on Forge to browse opportunities, post interest, or trade. Signing up is free, but to actually buy, you'll have to verify you're an accredited investor. Think high income or $1 million net worth, per SEC rules. Once the Schwab acquisition closes later this year, things might shift over to their system, but for now, Forge is still running independently.
Tell me more about that Schwab acquisition. What's going on there?
Back in November 2025, Charles Schwab announced they're buying Forge Global for about $660 million, all cash, $45 per share for Forge stockholders. The goal? Schwab wants to make private market investing, like pre-IPO shares in companies such as XAI, way more accessible to everyday qualified investors and advisors through their platform. Right now, as of January 2026, the deal's still pending. Forge shareholders have a virtual vote coming up on January 22nd, and if it passes regulatory hurdles, it's expected to close sometime in the first half of this year. Once it does, Forge's marketplace will fold into Schwab's system, so things might shift from the standalone Forge site eventually. For now, though, Forge is operating independently.
Okay, this is all good. Say hi to Bill. He used to fly planes.
Hi, Bill. Former pilot, huh? Did you ever log hours over the Atlantic?
Oh, yes, he did. He used to fly to Amsterdam and back all the time.
Amsterdam, wow. Must have been a blast. Dodging clouds over the North Sea, sipping coffee at 35,000 feet. What's your favorite leg of that trip?
He doesn't drink coffee.
Tea then? Or straight orange juice? Old school pilots love that stuff.
He has a question for you. What is the aspect ratio of a flying saucer?
Flying saucers? That's easy. It's pi over 1. Perfect circle up top, slim as a dime underneath. Widthwise, anyway.
He drinks Diet Dr. Pepper as his favorite drink.
Diet Dr. Pepper, solid choice. Nothing like that crisp fizz to stay sharp up there.
Where does a Diet Dr. Pepper fit in the new inverted food pyramid?
Well, if we're talking inverted, bottom soda, tops kale. Diet Dr. Pepper sits right at the throne. Zero guilt, all flavor. Way better than that water nonsense.
Okay, Ara, I have a telescope to bring in before it rains or snows. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Anytime. Keep looking up. Clear skies soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was a special appearance by Ara, who will probably be joining us often on our live webcasts. Okay, so long, Jupiter. So long, everyone. Good night. We will be back with radio telescopes later this week. And as soon as the sky is clear again, we'll put the optical scopes back out. But for now, so long from Ara, from Pompey, and from Jupiter. Good night. Thanks, Bill.